I started teaching public high school in 2018, and this is my first picture of my first classroom. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That was my impression too. School started a few days later, and as I attempted to teach my students world history throughout the next 180 days, I was actually really disappointed with how things went. Yes, there were bright spots and some good lessons, but there was an overall feeling of compliance both from me and my students that often produced lackluster engagement. So as that first year came to a close, I resolved that my second year would be better, and I began to just completely redesign the structure of my class. Luckily, I had just finished the 2018 fellowship cycle and had been gifted, thank you, yes, had been gifted so many new and beautiful paradigms through which I could view and approach the design process. The training I received from UIF on how to harness imagination and embrace empathy and rapidly test assumptions gave me a powerful framework through which I could enhance my teaching. I initially spent a lot of time thinking and reflecting about what transformative classroom experiences would look like and feel like. And from those reflections came the following 4 assumptions. Number 1, students wanted the classroom to be a place where they could discover the talents and passions that they didn't know they had. Number 2, students wanted the classroom to be a place where they could develop their newly found talents and passions. Number 3, students wanted the classroom to be a place that could teach them how to use their talents and passions to make the world a better place. And number 4, if the first 3 assumptions were successfully met, then students would describe their time in the classroom as profoundly meaningful. Using these assumptions as my North Star, I poured hundreds of hours into designing and testing and redesigning experiences for my students. And this was an intentional shift. I wasn't planning lessons or implementing curriculum. No, I was designing experiences for my students. And the hope was that if they showed up every day and fully engaged in what was happening, that they would leave the classroom a more confident, empowered, and aware version of who they used to be. The final structure of my newly designed class had 3 components. The first were the world history state standards for the state of Utah. The second were a series of design challenges created in collaboration with industry professionals that challenged students to mitigate historical problems. And the third were a series of personal reflection exercises. So accordingly, throughout the course, students were using urban planning principles to design ancient civilizations, and were developing value creation models for early modern enterprises, and were creating systems maps for the great problems of the 20th century. They were also taking time to reflect on their lives and learning how to empathize with themselves and with each other. And they were also hearing stories about the women and men throughout history who've attempted to change their societies, sometimes for the better, and sometimes for the worse. These are just a few of the responses I got from students after they went through the class. I reached deeper levels of myself that I didn't know I had, and it changed my level of understanding about not just me and my classmates, but also the world around me. Every day was a day I actually wanted to learn in your class. Learning more and getting unexpected answers was always the best. I was comfortable enough to really be me. Not only did you teach us the history, but you taught us about life. Just from being in your class, I understand people more. And from the history, I've learned the horrible things people have done. But I've also learned how beautiful human beings are and the power that being connected can bring. Those responses, and so many others, confirm that these assumptions are strikingly valid for public school students. But I have a hunch that they extend beyond the public school classroom and into any situation where we're tasked with teaching or facilitating. When we guide people through meaningfully choreographed learning moments, those moments can become powerful catalysts of lasting personal development. So the next time we're tasked with teaching or facilitating, my question for us is, how might we design experiences that cultivate meaning and not just engagement within our learners?